I'm Danny, and this is the Scream Princess podcast. Hello there, welcome back to the Scream Princess podcast, and I'm here with my friend and somebody I've worked with for a long time ago, MJ Dixon from Productions. How are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. And you can see I've got the Dean of the Dead chili sauces in front of me. So obviously we're here live, not live. I keep saying live, like we're live right now.
We're live, yeah.
We're live, we're alive.
We're alive.
It might not be after this. No, we are, well, we're obviously live today. We are at Romford Horror Festival. And so I'm kind of doing podcasts a little bit differently during the festival. Usually I have one person on for the full hour, but because I don't want to steal anybody out of the festival for an hour, everybody's here for doing their own thing. So I'm doing shorter snippets and I'm splicing them together. I feel like this one, it's going to be like a taster because you've actually not been on the podcast yet.
I haven't yet, no.
So I did ask you and we haven't kind of arranged it yet, but it's been running for a couple of months now. And I know I've got Tony Marden said he's up for this later, and he hasn't been on yet either. So I think I'm going to have three of you that haven't been on, and it's going to be like a taste of things to come.
Oh yeah.
Or if you
spicy taste of things to come.
If you hate me after this, you'll just be like, I'm not doing it anymore. So, tell me a little bit about Myco, how it all started.
Yeah, so I think it was about 20 years ago. I was kind of like working on like other people's stuff, and it just wasn't a very kind of like positive atmosphere. And so I kind of like had this urge to kind of go and do stuff on my own. And so I did. I just went off and kind of started a little company that eventually kind of became Myco. It was like a label to like release short films and stuff like that. And then I just spent about 4 or 5 years just making terrible short movies, and I did about 25 films in that time. And one day I kind of went, oh, well, these are all terrible, but why? You know, like. And then, I looked at it, and then I went and did a film called I Spy, which we did for the Horror Channel short competition.
Right.
And that didn't get picked for the Horror Channel stuff, but it did win one of the 8 shorts to die for thing,
right.
For Dread Central, that won that competition. And so then everyone was asking, everyone wanted to do interviews with me about it. And everyone kept saying, when you're doing a feature film. And so I was like, oh, I guess now then.
Yeah, now is the time.
And then so a few years later, a few starts and stops here and there, but I made a film called Slasher House.
Yes.
And that kind of started my journey into what we called the Mycoverse, which is like a connected series of movies and short films. And I think we've done now 11 features set in the Mycoverse.
And is this because some of your characters will dot into other films?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So once you've worked with MJ, you can only you can't go in all of his films because.
We've managed to get you in a few places.
You've got me in a couple. I was what's my name? What's her name? Jasmine.
Jasmine Sands.
Jasmine Sands in Pandemonium, which was a film set around an office block with a group of strippers who were like a cross between strippers and the village people in our various attires, and we kind of go to this office party and it all goes a little bit wrong. Yeah,
because we'd wanted to work together for ages, and it was like really waiting to find some really good character for you.
Yeah,
Jasmine was.
Yeah, and all of those characters, for those who don't know, their names are all based on Disney.
Yeah, they're all Disney princesses. But like we tried to change their names ever so slightly so we couldn't get sued.
Yeah. You're a big Disney fan?
Yeah. I mean, as much as the next guy, you know. Like I've watched Disney films.
Yeah.
You know, I know my Disney princesses, and all the guys were named after like villains from all Disney movies as well.
Right. Okay. And then I voiced a funny little character in Slash House.
She's like Martin's Siamese mother that grows out of his back. And we thought, Who could voice this? I know, just the person.
Who sounds like a witch.
You played Miss Feline Fine in
Oh, I did.
Egghead as well, so we managed to
Yes.
sneak you into.
Yeah, but Egghead, that was kind of a standalone, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, the question's out whether it's Mycoverse or not yet.
Yeah, or
guess we'll
video
find
shop.
out.
Having said that, I video shop 2 screening tonight, and I have already seen it. But Egghead comes back.
He does, yeah.
Yeah. So if you are a fan of Egghead, if you saw Video Shop 1 and you saw the whole Egghead part, we had this conversation yesterday as well. Like I was talking to the guys from the British Horror Studio, and they seem to keep having people playing cats in their films, and I was like, I've played a cat. So feline fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, super fun. I love the kind of the makeup.
Yeah. Well, that's how we managed to kind of sneak you into it as a.
Well, do you know what? I did say this on a podcast again yesterday. Like, something I'd love to do that I haven't done is kind of be made up to be something that's completely not me anymore, so that it kind of takes away from that.
Okay.
So whether I'm really like an ugly demon or something that's very not, so that's the kind of closest thing I've had really, is being a cat.
Being a cat lady.
So shall we? We're going to chat a bit more, but I think we should have a little go with some of these chili sauces.
Okay.
So these first ones, handle whisker, that's actually got 4 chilies on it. I don't think that was that hot. That one's got 3. This one, I don't know how many that one's got. To be honest, the only 2 that I thought were very hot was the first one I tried, which was Sauce Superior, and then the Art Attack, which is the Terrifier one.
Right.
But shall we start with the Video Shop Tales
Yeah.
of Terror? So this is Dean of the Dead, Video Shop Tales of Terror, Lust and Revenge. That's the second one. This is Toffee Apple Sweet Chili.
Right.
So I'm not usually a fan of sweet chili.
That's my favourite.
Oh, is it? So I always find it too sweet, but this has got a slight sour to it as well, so I think it really works. So help yourself to a cracker, so they're all falling out, not one that fell out. There you go.
Yes.
And we'll so I'm gonna have a go at this today. Yesterday he poured for me, but
So this is like the level of stuff. When I'm in the
that
supermarket,
one breaks.
this is like my
This
chili.
is okay.
This is my chili count. Like.
This is why I've given you a milkshake. I won't lie. This one was okay. Yesterday, the last one had me in trouble. Okay.
Okay.
Cheers. What do you think?
That's okay. Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it?
I mean, it tastes good. Yeah.
Flavour's great. So it's toffee apple. So I was like, I honestly wasn't sure what I was going to think of this one. So it's got ingredients. It's got no apple in it. It's onion that's making the kind of apple flavour, but it does taste.
It's good. Yeah.
Happy.
It'd be good on some chips.
I was thinking like if you had like a mango salsa kind of salad, that could work with that. I don't know, like Mexican food, but
it's a little spicier than like your normal Thai sweet chili.
yeah, it's got a very slight kick. It's got three fires on the side, but I actually thought it was okay.
Yeah. Was I like that one.
Yeah, should go for one more before we chat a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Shrieking in Tongues, and this is one he created for a metal band.
Okay.
And this one is Cherry Cola.
Oh, wow. I mean, now we're talking.
Cherry Cola is more like a barbecue sauce, this one.
Okay.
Let's help yourself again to a cracker. That's not from the chili. I don't know, I choked on air a little while ago talking to you. I don't know what's going on with me today. Falling apart. There you go. You're letting me do this over your clothes, and I'm very clumsy.
Oh, trust me, I've had my photo shoot today anyway, so
Oh, this one's not hot.
that's what I would have been worried about.
This one's fine. Fine. Right. Cheers.
Yeah, that's milder than the first one.
Do you think that's milder? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to put them in that order. Do you think?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it's got more of a barbecue.
I think they're kind of on a par. And that one's got less chilies than that one. But I thought actually, so this has only got 3. This has got 3 chilies. This one's got 4. But I thought this was hotter. So we'll decide which one.
Well, yeah, it's pretty good. I like a good barbecue as well.
Yeah. Do you ever watch the hot ones?
No, I know of it.
Have you never seen it? Oh, it's so good. We watched one with Zac Efron the other night, and he was really good. Like, he actually handled it. But you know, I think it's the girls that handle it better.
Yeah.
So you've got like Margot Robbie hardly flinched. She was like just too cool for school. Ariana Grande was pretty good.
What's that about?
I don't know.
No. I mean, I guess women go through like childbirth and stuff, so they probably can just withstand like.
I don't know.
Spicy food is like a walk in the park for you guys.
I don't know. Like, I'm a fan of spicy food, and I used to be better than I am now because I used to have a lot of these like various very hot chili sauces, and I love them on like a shepherd's pie or a lasagna.
Right, yeah.
But like a tiny little dot of it is enough to kind of, you know, for your whole meal. But if you use them in your cooking, you'd put a little bit in the pan. Now, I don't think you're really meant to have them like just on a cracker. But I can't really cook that much hot food now because he can't have it at home. So it's like otherwise I'm doing two separate things.
When I was a student, I'd cook a tray of sausages and then cover them in sriracha.
I love
Oh, man,
sriracha.
so good.
He can just about handle that.
Yeah,
That's like
that was like really spicy stuff at the time, like, you know, like at the time.
I remember the first time I had sriracha, I was in a Vietnamese and I had a pho, and I remember putting a bit of sriracha in and finding it like super hot and finding the pho really hot. But like now I'm adding loads. Like I don't like, you get used to chili, don't you?
Yeah.
Like if you build up a tolerance, I guess. But I think mine's kind of slightly lowered. I mean, it's above the sriracha level, but this was a lot for me yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Let's go to the third. Let's
Okay.
have yourself to a cracker. It's fun. Okay.
I'm worried I keep picking really small crackers as well. Like they're not gonna save me from the.
So this is Sauce Superior. I thought yesterday, this was the first one I tried yesterday, and I thought it had a kick. It wasn't awful.
Well, the film this is named after is like in my top 10
Is it?
favourite films of all time. So I'm hoping that this is like.
This is quite a thick sauce.
Is this like a Heinz ketchup situation?
Oh, there you go. Oh. Okay, just make sure I've got the same amount as you because I don't want to like, you know. So this to me is like a normal chili hot sauce, like more like a wing sauce.
Yeah, it's got a little bit more of a spicy kick than the other two.
Yeah, his habanero based. So I think the other one's like the sweet chili barbecue. That's why he kind of brought me these. He said he'd do like a mix of the flavors. He's got like loads more on the site, but that's kind of more your standard hot sauce, I think. So tell me a bit more about the other films. So you started out with Slasher House.
I did, yeah.
And then how did it go? How did your universe present itself?
Well, I'd done a short film about Thorn. It was like probably like one of the first things I'd created before it ever became like a universe or anything. And then and then we moved Thorn over into the first Slasher House because we've combined two of the characters into Cleaver, the killer clown. And then Thorn was really popular, so we were like, okay, well, let's do a Thorn movie. And so we went and did that, and then that was quite popular, which kind of led to the trilogy, which is the thing that finishes tomorrow.
Right.
We've got the third part of the trilogy is what is playing tomorrow afternoon at 2:00. And so and then that kind of opened up what we were doing a little bit, and so from there we kind of went, well, look, let's just kind of see what other characters are popular and what movies we can make about them. And so we did a Cleaver movie, which we didn't think anyone would care, because Cleaver was written as like a bit of a joke character, like a clown with a meat cleaver. It was like this daft cliche that I thought no one, you know, just as a random slasher, he's like the first character to go in like the movie. But then everyone was like, when's Cleaver getting a movie? So we did that, and then we did a movie called Hollower with Nick Vince that starred another one of the characters from Slash House. So from there we just kind of went, well, okay, this worked out really well, because initially we planned to do like some smaller movies and then do Slash House and team everyone up. So we went, well, let's do Slash House 2 and introduce 4 new characters, and then we'll see who's popular from there and spin off. And then that's how we ended up doing movies with Jacob the Killer Panda and Molly Bannister got their own movies from there. And it just kind of, it started to kind of grow out from there. And then Slash House 3, we introduced 25 slashers across the whole thing. And then so that's kind of like the basis for like what we'll do next down the line, and kind of we've got like a whole kind of score of characters to pick from now to do different things with. And I think they all, you know, the idea is just to do something different with each one, and you know, give each one their own kind of personality and things like that.
And obviously Horoscopes is the third three volumes now. So you had Horoscopes 1, which you brought me on. It was my directorial debut.
It was, yeah.
So I think you asked me if I'd like to direct a piece, and I was like, are you sure? Because that you said, I think you're ready.
Well, I'd worked with you like as a director a little bit on the
kind of very movie. It was, but I didn't direct the main part of the movie, but it came to kind of reshooting a scene that you helped me out with at Horror on the Sea. So you came and you shot it for me, and so I directed one scene, which was, I mean, it didn't take a lot of directing. So,
I think you did a good job. It made me think, I think Danny would make a really good director. So you kind of.
Thank you.
So
you brought me on for that, and we had the pickening. So was it pickening during lockdown? Or was
the first pickening.
So the pickening was something that you do a once a year. You kind of do. Was it Myco? You do like a Mycon. So it's like an online convention, but all the Myco stuff comes together, and you pull in like ex-cast members, and you do like Q&As, and you have all kinds of things going on there, screenings. So do check it out. But you did a picketing, so you basically picked names out of the hat. So you picked as directors, and then you picked the names out of the horoscopes basically out of the hat.
Yeah.
And I was given Gemini for that one, and then I found it really hard to write a short because I'm not used to writing shorts. I'm not used to writing a feature where, you know, you've got a full story. So it took me ages to come up with that. And I did think, never again, I'm not doing another one. And then you came along at Horror Scene and said, I really liked your piece. And that flattered my ego. And then you said, would you like to do part 2? And I was like, okay.
Well, like you had like a script like the next week for that one.
Well, no. Part 2 took me a long time as well.
Did it really?
Part 2 took me longer. I think I finished my first one. It took me a long time to get it together for the first one, but I think once I did, I had the script together. The second one, Dragon, I remember being at Horror on the Sea, so that was the Chinese horoscopes, and I got given Dragon. And I was thinking, well, everyone else gets a horoscope where, you know, they might be able to pull in a sheep or a goat. I was like, I'm not going to be able to get a dragon on my budget. But that took me ages. I remember being at Horror on the Sea thinking, right, I want an egg. It's something to do with the egg.
Yeah, I remember.
And I was going like, maybe someone goes to a restaurant and then, I don't know, they crack this egg, and then it's, the ideas were stupid. And then I kind of went away from Horror and Sea, and then I was in the bath, and I wasn't even thinking about it. And then suddenly it was just like, ding. And then the idea like formed, and I got out of the bath quickly, wrote the script. So that one happened. And then the third one was like the Dark Zodiac, which I still don't really know an awful lot about, because I know I was given the title of Hunger, which was apparently the dark side of Libra, but then there was a second word, which was Locust. So it was like, I don't know why we had a second word, and I know you said we didn't have to do anything with it, but I wanted to tie it all. So
we were looking for like symbols that like historically went with these different kind of dark entities, I guess, which was like hunger. And then the locust kind of was representative of historically of famine and things like that. So I guess, you know, that's where it came from. I mean, a lot of it's pieced together because, like, the traditional horoscope, the traditional zodiac was really easy. And then the next, obviously, logical step was the Chinese one, which everyone knows. But then finding, like, we had, like, the Egyptian one was really similar to, like, the original one.
I had a book on the Egyptian ones, and it's quite like, it's like they're different names of different goddesses, and I think I'm Geb or Jeb, or I don't know how you pronounce it. That's like my personal horoscope, but it doesn't seem to mean anything too different.
So I started doing some research into it, and I found something called, it's called the Babylonian Zodiac, but that didn't have a very kind of cool ring to it when I tried to turn it into like a movie title. But some people kept referring to it as the Dark Zodiac, but there's like there wasn't like a a really concrete list. So
well,
what I basically did,
Googling it when you kind of said, when you'd given me the title and I did a Google and it doesn't come up with too much.
so I collated like every bit of information I could from all these different versions, and I just kind of picked basically the coolest version of each one that it had.
That one I actually came up with my script really quickly.
Maybe that's the one.
The third one I kind of went away just going, straight away I had a kind of idea, but it wasn't kind of forming properly. And then I was away on another film and I had a few days in between, and I was on the south coast, and at the time I was in Scotland, living in Scotland. So they put me in an Airbnb, sort of near the coast in somewhere near Brighton. But the weather was terrible, it was raining, but I was sitting in my little Airbnb out the window in the rain, and you could see the sea in the distance. It was like the perfect ambience for writing. So I got myself a bottle of Prosecco, and I sat down, and then the script was the
there you go, that's the secret.
Yeah, it's always the secret when I'm writing. There is always Prosecco on the go. When you get towards the end, especially if it's a longer piece, by the time you get to the end, it doesn't make an awful lot of sense anymore. But right. It's a first draft, so that happens. Shall we go for number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is Handle with Scare. I think this was okay.
Okay.
So.
Well, I trust you.
Many don't. Many don't.
I think try and find a more sizable cracker than usual.
Yeah, well, this one's got four chilies on it, but I thought the other one was hot.
I have a Madras sometimes, which is a 4 chili.
Yeah, I'm usually a Madras person.
I do find that a bit too hot casually.
On the restaurant.
Yeah,
because sometimes you can have a Madras and be like, well, that's tame. Sometimes you have a Madras and nose is running, I can't finish it, I'm taking this home for later.
Yeah.
There you go. Cheers. So I think this one's quite sweet and not spicy.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
No, and this has got 4 chilies. So I think I'd kind of lined them up the way I thought. I definitely think they should be even that way around.
Yeah, I think.
Or first.
Yeah.
It's video shops in the middle.
It's got a little bit of an after sting, I suppose.
It's got chilies in it.
Yeah.
It's got chilies in it. I've got a good idea for an anthology, which I'm not going to say.
That's a good idea.
I'm going to tell you it afterwards. See what you think. It could be good. It could be good. So are you thinking any more anthologies after horoscopes, or are you going back to...
Well, I think I'm going to take a break for maybe this year.
Until these ones get released.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is, so the second one somehow ended up being finished really before the first one. So then that meant we couldn't release the second one until the first one was, because one of the sections had to be reshot.
Right. Okay.
And then that took longer than I anticipated. So hopefully the idea is that the first, at least the first one, hopefully the first 2 will be out intermittently this year.
Okay.
And the third one next year.
Okay. Well, for this one, because I'm going to do something here. I'm going to move these out of the way because I have an idea. Now, the thing yesterday that I did with Dean, he poured quite a lot on my chip, and then I poured half of mine onto his chip, and it was still more than either of us had of the other sauces. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to make a plate with this one.
Right. And then we're going to dip.
And I'm going to show you how much I'm going to dip.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And it's not going to be very much at all.
Oh,
so that's all you literally need on there, and I wouldn't even put that in my mouth.
I'm starting to see the...
I mean, do you want to smell it? Are you ready? I'm going to get my milkshake.
Yeah, okay. Good thinking.
I mean, this caused me problems yesterday.
Christ.
But
that's nearly made my eyes water, from the smell.
Okay, get yourself a chip.
Okay. I think I'm going to I need a sizable chip for this one.
And I'm literally going to do that.
Oh my God. That's like...
I mean...
Okay, is that a sensible
I think
amount?
that's enough.
You reckon?
Yeah. If it's not, you can have some more. I just don't want to repeat it yesterday.
All right. I'll trust you.
No, wait. Can you taste it at all?
Yeah, I've instantly got a sting from it.
Right.
So that's,
and then it gets hotter. So I think that, like the amount I put on here, so I think that will be okay.
Okay.
Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I think if you put that much in a whole like bowl of chili.
Yeah.
I mean, this actually feels okay now. It's burning my tongue, but
yeah,
it's not burning my. Yesterday it was like my.
It's like at the back of my throat, which the others haven't been.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, yesterday we had more than this on each of ours, and I felt it burning me all the way down. And then I was sat here and I was okay for a minute. I was chatting away to Dean, and then I was like, I feel like I'm being melted from the inside out, and it was a really weird feeling. Like I feel like it was, I don't know, like maybe, I don't know, it was like the weirdest feeling. It didn't feel like cramps or it didn't feel like when you have a tummy ache. It was like weird. I think it's gonna be okay though. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah, good. Okay, so that maybe with Tony Marden, I'll get him to have a little bit more.
Well, yeah, I
What do you
think that's a
think?
good idea.
See, I was kind to you.
Yeah, well, of course.
I still feel it burning my tongue, but
Yeah, it's been spicier than the other ones. Like I can't imagine of what it would have been like to have much more than that.
yeah. Well, I'll make Tony have a little bit more.
Yeah, well, you know, he doesn't want to seem like a wimp like me, like by having just a tiny little bit. So you know, he needs to have a bit.
I think you'd have gone for whatever I went for there, and I'm not feeling that brave. I feel like I'll go a little bit more next time.
Okay.
So,
No.
thank you so much for coming on
You're
the
welcome.
show.
Thank you for having me. It's always good to see you.
Obviously, I'd love to have you back for like a full hour for a proper, a proper show.
Yeah.
And we will chat about all things horror, because I mean, I've been on yours a few times talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
various horror things, and we always have a
We did
Good
the
chat.
Scream 5 podcast a while ago.
yeah,
That's good fun.
5 cream you call it.
5 Cream.
Yeah, is there? Well, we could. There's a new one coming out at some
Oh
point.
yeah,
We
well,
could-
and we haven't talked about Scream 6, so maybe we could.
maybe we could revisit.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do the slashers. Maybe you can come along and we can
Yeah.
talk
Well,
about slasher
we were
movies.
just talking about 90s slasher movies before we came
We
up
should have
here.
just recorded that.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
that was
you
good
saved yourself,
conversation.
saved us both the job there. Welcome back to the Scream Princess podcast. I'm here today with Alexander Gent, makeup artist extraordinaire.
Oh, God bless you. Yeah, SFX makeup. I'm really not the pretty stuff, but you know.
He likes the gore.
I do like
as
the
I
gore.
well know.
Yes, indeed. Yes. One of my very first jobs.
Was it?
Yes, but it was. In fact, it was my first professional engagement. Was working with Danny and having to make her look horrible.
And it didn't put you off for like.
It didn't put me off at all. It was a challenge because I've got to make you look horrible for several days. But it was great fun. It was great fun.
It was
and
actually.
you're a wonderful model to work with as a first big project. It was you made life a lot easier than you could have done. So.
I actually really enjoyed that whole experience. So we worked together on a film called Mannequin, and it was before lockdown. So was it?
Yes.
Was it 2019?
Yeah.
Or 2018?
I think it was
Maybe
2018.
Maybe 2018. So it's a long time
Yeah.
ago. And we shot on a mannequin farm. And people are like, what is a mannequin? Where do they grow mannequins? It was basically a lady had, she'd got these mannequins from like landfill, and she was like repurposing them and I don't know what's the word.
Revitalising.
Yeah, kind of recycling them, stopping them going into landfill. But she's kind of, I mean, it was a farm building she's kind of set up. So there's lots of mannequins inside, all different sorts. And then there's one bit where it's literally a mountain, like, of mannequin parts, like arms, legs, torsos.
It comes across as a questionable comparison, but it was almost like piles of bodies that you would see at a concentration camp, which I know is not a pretty image, but it was on that sort of scale, and it was eerie.
It was eerie, but we were shooting on the mannequin farm, but there was a campsite opposite, and we all had to camp for like the duration of the film. Now a few weeks before I actually said yes 100% I'll do this film, I went practice camping to make sure I, would be able to cope. And actually, I loved it. Like, I think up until that point, I hadn't been camping since I was a kid. But now since I've been camping many a time, like I'm a big fan of camping now.
I'm just camp. I don't do camping. Well, that was it. It'd been ages since I've been camping, and so I had to go out and get all the kit and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'll go and work on a film, and I'm camping in a field. Is that how this works now? Okay, but it was good fun. It was
super fun, and it was like, I mean, I've met two of my like best friends, and they were. I was having this conversation, and I was like, I can't remember who my first show was. It was the Hex Girls. It was Megan and Cheryl, so also both in Mannequin. That was my first podcast. And so I've met them on the film. I've met you on the film. We've worked together numerous times since. But it was such a nice experience. It sounds absolutely bonkers. It was like such a super low budget.
It was bonkers. Sounds bonkers, was bonkers.
Yeah, you were there like a couple of days before me, because I know we'd had like this torrential rain. So it was in August. It was in the height of summer, because I had my birthday actually on the set.
You did.
I did, and we had a Chinese and a cake. It was great, but it was like torrential rain. You know, when it rains in August, it's like that summer rain, but it pours. So a lot of people had like water in their tents, and I had quite a good tent. I borrowed a tent off a friend. And it had, like, I had one with a bedroom, and it also had this porch bit. And then the day I got there, I think it had rained, and I think you helped me. And I think there was about three of us putting up my tent in the rain.
Rushing to put your tent up in the rain and keep you dry, because we'd already got soaked, and so it was just trying to do everything at once.
But then we actually had some lovely weather. I think that was it for the rain. After that, it was like
more like you got sunburn.
Yeah, I mean, afterwards it was lovely. So being on a farm in the summer, there was like this big lake. So evenings we'd like go and sit by the lake, and I think I introduced everybody to the Brothers Toffee Apple Cider, which is cider. It's my camping drink, because I never drink cider. Elsewhere, but for camping, I'm like toffee apple cider, or the marshmallow one's also particularly good.
I've tried to keep myself to one.
One flavour.
One addiction at a time, please. I can't be doing.
But it was lovely, wasn't it? Going down to the lake and sitting there, getting bitten by mosquitoes. Like I'm a snack when it comes to mosquitoes. They're like, oh, she looks tasty. Let's get her. But you had to paint me into this half kind of map. Well, so it was a girl who was a model, but then she'd had this like burn, and then tried to turn herself into a mannequin.
Yes,
because she liked them.
Yes, it was half clown paint,
which
is as wonderful stuff, incredibly dense. Brilliant.
Incredibly sticky.
Incredibly sticky. That's the only trouble, is if you've got to put it on in the quantities that we had to put it on yourself, it's getting it off again afterwards is the pain in the backside.
Yeah, I'm glad there were good showers at the campsite. I mean, it was like a little porta cabin thing with showers, and often there'd be some big spiders in that shower room, so that wasn't my favourite part. But because we were getting the makeup, it was probably in the makeup for a good few hours in the morning.
Goodness, so
I'd kind of be first on set with you, getting makeup, but then they'd wrap me because I had to get out of it. So then I think you'd kind of get off what you could, and then I just had to get in the shower and.
Well, that's it, because we did half of it was clown paint, and then half of it was a 2-part silicone gel to do the scarred.
Yeah, I'll pop a picture. I'll pop a picture on this so that you can see.
That was turn up on the day and just told, this is what we want, and I said okay, and so it's making up on the fly.
Yeah,
but it worked.
Yeah, because you came in was it with a week to go or something?
I came in really late, and I thought I was the assistant.
Right.
I came on
no, this is on you.
This is my first gig. I'm going to be helping somebody out, cleaning brushes, that sort of thing. And I turned up, and they said, "Oh no, our makeup artist has bailed on us." And so I learned very, very fast. It was a lovely set, because everybody was very collaborative and everybody very supportive of each other.
Yeah.
Nobody was sort of like, well, I'm in my trailer and you lot can bugger off, because it's only a tent. Cooking for each other.
Well, I don't know. Cheryl did have a castle. She turned up with this tent, didn't she? It had like bedrooms, different separate bedrooms, and like.
Yeah, there were two wings to it.
She had 2 wings, which we've been camping in that tent since. But we all slept in one wing. We put all our stuff in one wing, and her Megan, and myself, and the dog at the time, Dolly.
Yes,
we all slept in.
Of course, Dolly duties was making sure.
Yeah,
trying to keep
because
Dolly happy when Mum was
Yes.
filming, because
Yeah.
Dolly was a mummy's girl.
Well, that was kind of my criteria for a low budget film. Like, not I don't have a dog now, but I was like, well, if you don't have budget to pay for a dog sitter, then she must come. And it was lovely. And I don't know if I'd have liked sleeping in the tent all by myself without the dog, but it was like, you know, I had a nice air mattress in there and the dog in there, and it was lovely. But yeah, if she can't see me, she didn't know where I was, she would whine.
Yeah.
Or if anyone's not paying her attention, so as long as you're stroking her or you're carrying her or something, it's fine. But the second you put her down, she'd whine. So yeah, I think at one point the director was directing with the dog like under his arm, and you probably didn't make up with the dog.
I was going to say, it was. Dolly was. I mean, she was a very welcome member of the set, but yeah, she needed.
She was literally
Dolly
the
sitting.
only diva on the
Yes, everybody else was remarkably chilled about everything.
And she did end up in the film, so she wasn't meant to. Then we came back and we shot this scene a long time afterwards.
It was just when we had the break in lockdown.
It was the break in lockdown, yeah, because I lost her at the end of lockdown. So,
Exactly.
but it was in the there was all these like strewn about dead people, and she was just sat in the middle. And they were like, will she stay there if we try and film this? I was like, yes, because like I always used to do photo shoots with her wherever I went. I'd be like, stay, and so she knew like to stay if like some there was pictures or whatever been taken. So there's this shot where my character goes and like picks her up and waltzes off with her, but she's sat in the.
She was as good as gold.
She was very good, and she actually the film was dedicated to her.
Oh, bless
It
her.
is. So yeah, she got her name up there.
Of course she did. Well, she was an integral part of the crew.
She was. Yeah, she was. She was like kept everybody sane because there was like a cute little dog. There were 9 cats on this farm as well, and they were all bigger than the dog. So I was like, I don't know. Everyone just make sure she doesn't get eaten.
The cats. That was the thing. It's as long as you were an animal person on that film.
Yeah.
Because it's either Dolly or
cats.
the cats, and it was sort of. I mean, obviously, you don't wrangle cats. Just do their own thing, but it's
you
just
would
sort of
know.
like,
You would
can
know.
you try and keep them out of shot, please? Yeah, well, yes. Trying to do makeup when you makeup at home and prepping stuff when you've got 6 cats, you want to investigate what you're doing when you're trying to sculpt something on the table, and suddenly you go, oh, so this sculpture now incorporates a paw print. Thanks, dude. I'm going to get rid of that.
Yeah,
So.
mine is when I'm cooking, which I'm just like, you need, like he actually did singe his fur by jumping on the cooker, and I'm like, hopefully this will teach you not to do that again.
Yeah.
But he's still,
Yeah.
so I have to be really careful. Like if I'm actually cooking on the stove, like I have to like have eyes everywhere,
Yes.
or like trying, because if I lock them out of the kitchen, then they're scratching on the door.
chaos.
They're scratching the door. So I've like only just moved and kind of painted everything, and my kitchen door's all scratched up, and he climbs them as well. So the little claw, I've just given up now.
Yes, with cats you just have to give in and let them do that.
I'm glad I didn't buy expensive curtains too, because the girl one's a curtain climber.
Yeah. No,
So-
yes.
In fact, she's been seen on the podcast climbing curtains, because when I shoot at home, I have a curtain behind me, and the moment you just see the curtain start kind of flapping, and a tail sticking up from underneath, and it's the cat, but it happens. So yeah, that was it was a really fun shoot.
It was.
It was like a family, and I know people, the first bit were like living on pot noodles and things, and I was like, people need at least one proper meal.
Yes.
And because I was coming out of makeup first, and I was showered and ready first, I was like, just give me your budget every day and I'll go to Asda, and like I will come back and
Other
cook.
supermarkets are available.
Yeah, other supermarkets
But they
are available.
weren't in Lincolnshire.
They were, yeah. It was Asda.
It was really remote.
Oh, I don't know, but Cheryl and I went one day and we found this lovely antique shop, and then you lot were all hungry. Because we were gone for like an extra hour.
That was the day we starved. We've got some wonderful antiques for the road.
I don't think. Oh, I bought some little Elvis like magazines, and Cheryl bought a compact. And it was
It was pot noodle that night.
No, I did come back and cook.
Yeah, no, I know.
We had a curry night, and we had I think we had a chili night.
Yeah. It was. I have to say, it was a make or break thing for me in a way. The very first film you go and work on, and it's in a camp. You're camping, and it's at a mannequin farm, and there's all things like that. But the way that everybody bonded and came together, and everybody worked together, meant that it was so much more and it sort of said, this is what filmmaking is about, is everybody pitches in, does a little bit.
I think on the independent ones, like, 'cause if you work on like bigger budget things, like nobody that isn't the boom holder person would hold the boom, or nobody would like, you know, nobody would step on anyone else's toes, or, and I don't know, and they wouldn't like it if you tried to help. But yeah, on a low budget independent film, whatever.
You find new skills.
Yeah, like I've held a boom on one of MJ's films. Like I literally just wasn't in that shot, so I was like, great, I can do this. You know, we can.
It's necessary, well, not necessarily evil, but it's.
Well, it's a way of getting stuff done quicker, and you can. Then it's time for pizza. Yeah. So that works.
That's it. I mean, it's independent filmmaking at its best.
Yeah, but what I loved about that as well, it was the it was like this big long table. So you know, like we see movies where houses have this like giant long table. So they had this big long table, and it felt very kind of fun house. There was only 2 hobs in the kitchen to cook with to like feed all of the people. Yeah, the kitchen wasn't the best, and we kind of got it as clean as we could and hoped no one died. Especially as I was doing the
cooking. Actors were killed.
No actors, no crew either.
No crew were killed during the making of the film.
But it did feel quite family, didn't it? Having that big table and actually sitting down in the evening having a meal together.
At the end of the day, it was, as you say, the atmosphere was very much, and it helped having that. We all sit down together, we all eat together, and we're just. It helped us all bond. There was no real no real egos, but it was one of those things that everybody it broke down barriers, and you got to know people pretty darn fast, because you're either, well, as I discovered with the my snoring was wound up the producer to the extent that she was going to drag me, the entire contents of my tent, and myself down into the lake on the very first night after I didn't have. Before I knew I had sleep apnea, so it was like one of those things. It's just like a bloody warthog.
So I was glad of you being around. I couldn't hear the snoring. I can sleep through anything. Right. But in the morning, when the spiders used to find their way into my tent, and I'd be like, help, because I had this porch bit and it doesn't fully zip. No. Like just the porch bit doesn't. So they can't get into my bedroom because it's fully zipped. But the porch, and they would all come in, and the money spiders, the tiny little ones, and kind of. They're web like trapeze, basically.
It was Barnum and Bailey, as done by a troop of spiders, all coming in. It's like, here we are to entertain you. Hey.
Yeah, it was awful.
And you just didn't appreciate it.
I didn't appreciate it.
Clear the house, please.
And I think there was another day where my window, so tent's got like a window, but with a kind of gauze thing over it, so nothing could get in, but it was like, you know, so that light would get in. And I had one of those massive huntsman ones. It's not huntsman, harvestman. We don't get huntsman here. We're in England.
I was going to say, it's not Australia. We weren't filming in Australia. Otherwise we wouldn't
you would not get me in a tent in Australia at all. I amaze myself that I'm from there. It amazes me that I ever came from a country with that many spiders. And
that's why you left.
Well, no, my parents left.
I know, but like they obviously could see it coming. It's like, this ain't going to work.
I didn't used to be scared of them. It was my dad's fault.
Right.
So I was watching Arachnophobia with him, because I used to be able to pick, the big bath spiders? I would pick them up on a tissue and put them outside. I had no issues with spiders as a kid. And we were watching Arachnophobia, and he had this plastic spider that, I don't know if it come from a Christmas cracker, probably not. I don't know where he got it, like some plastic spider. And the bit where the spider lands on the person's face, he threw this thing at me. So he must have seen it before and knew it was coming. He threw the spider at me. And I think that was it. That was the turning point. And never again can I be near a spider. And I can always see them. So if there's one spider in a room, I'll find it. I'll spot it. Yeah. But I did, when my kittens had them like for a day, I think, and a spider in the bathroom, and it had run out when I was on the loo, and then I couldn't like get it. And then when I tried to get it, it disappeared. And then the next day, I got the kittens not to be spider hunters, just for having kittens.
But it happens.
But I went to go to the toilet, and it must have come out into the kitchen, and it was like they'd separated it into pieces. Yeah, so I was like, natural born killers.
Yes, they're great.
I love them. Not when they climb in my curtains or waking me up at 4 a.m. to be fed.
No.
But
but that's
Yeah,
cancelled.
if they're saving me from spiders, they can stay.
They have official
Yes,
duties.
you have duties. you get fed. You must work for your food.
Kind of like on a film.
Exactly.
Are you going to get fed? Did you do enough work today?
Yeah, yeah. You've literally done. I mean, we've worked together on Video Shop
yeah.
and on Mosaic.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, numerous things, but you've been doing a lot.
I've been
Since then,
bouncing
you've been-
around. I'm starting to do some writing, basically to get myself some more work.
That's the only reason I really wrote anything, is to create roles for myself.
Yeah, because I worked with you on Dragon.
Yes, you created my dragon egg. I've had a conversation about that, about how
Phil's burn makeup.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna maybe get a Phil in this same episode, if not another one. But yeah. So Phil is like this really nice
he's not
guy.
He's a sweetie.
Like you just don't expect him to have his nipples pierced.
No, which was
I was like, whoa, Phil. And I just didn't expect it. And then you had to cover him in burn.
Yes, I had to create burn makeup for Phil, which was because when they took Phil, normally he's bearded.
Yes.
And for this particular character, it was so transformative for him to remove the beard.
Yeah, he really went for it, didn't it?
Baby face.
Yeah, he did.
But he was. I mean, I've worked with Phil a lot of times, and you can wind him up, but he's very, very good and very easy to work with. And he was. But building eggs and.
I feel like he's very versatile, because a lot of the time you see him, because of his stature, he ends up playing gangsters or baddies. And then I'd had him as a police officer in Gemini, so then my first one, I had him in that as a police officer, because I think that kind of lends itself, people, you can either look like a gangster or you can look like a police officer. It kind of works for both, that kind of look. I think I don't know, Ross Kemp from you can imagine him being he's got in EastEnders, but you can imagine him being I think Phil's got that same kind of vibe. But then I wanted something really different for him that he doesn't usually get to play. And then when I wrote the character, was it Charlie? No, Charlie was in the third. Charlie?
Yeah.
Charlie?
I don't know, I just did his makeup.
I think his name was Charlie. But I wanted something really different for him, and he came up with shaving the beard off himself. And that was his own scope on the character.
It was transformative, and he was very good about being burnt.
Yeah, I don't think he was aware he was going to be so covered, or did he? I don't know what he thought. He read the script.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is that once you let me on there, it's like, right, go on, kick off.
I mean, in my head, I was like, we're being visited. You can come and say hello if you want. Tom Lee Rutter has just entered and left his phone in here. I thought it was yours, actually. And scene.
Yeah, no, Phil is generally. I mean, I've been worked with professional. They're very professional about it, even if it's not the main part of their career. Phil. It's like, right, come on, Phil. Kit off, not completely.
Yeah, he was.
Dear Lord, we don't need that.
He was a trooper.
He was a trooper. He was a trooper of doing that, because then it's not just the putting it on; it's the taking it off afterwards, and then it's sort of
Yeah.
That's.
But the effect looked great.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So.
I'm pleased it worked. That's all
What's your favourite kind of makeup stuff to do?
I do a lot of wound work and things like that, but I actually really want to develop sort of sculptural and developing character looks is actually a lot of fun. Wounds, you're going to put gore on them, but I worked on Video Shop 2. I had to help create the character for the silent photographer.
Right.
And doing that was actually transforming what is a good-looking guy and giving him a sleazy effect. And when I worked on Mosaic, I turned Denise Wilton, who is a lovely lady, into a sort of escaped mental patient. And in some ways, it's a bigger challenge than just applying a large prosthetic or something like that, because you're working with the person and it's got to have that nuance and subtlety to it. So as much as it's steering closer towards typical makeup, it's actually a lot of fun finding the character in there, and generally it's sort of I'm there. It's on the day, find the character, and then and work it out pretty fast. But I'm hoping to sort of develop a few more prosthetics and things like that. So starting to have a little production line of intestines, because you never know when never know when you need a lower intestine to fall out of somebody's stomach.
That's true.
It's
So do you feel like you build these things and it's like, and then you can use them for different films, like? Because I know sometimes somebody will want stuff and they'll commission you to, do that. But is it like you've got like, is your own kind of like a props house, but of things you've created? That
Well, this is the thing. It helps to have those props on hand, the prosthetics and things like that on hand, because people do suddenly go, "Oh, we really want," and it's sort of like, well, if I've made them, I can wash them down, keep them, store them, and then it means it's less stress for me. And it means I don't have to. I can reuse the materials, etc., etc. So no, it's good. Certain things you want to have, things like cutthroats and things like that. You want to develop your own,
right? So
that you've got your own look. Everybody will sculpt them slightly differently.
Right.
Mine tend to be. I do them on the fly on the set, but mine tend to be pretty grisly. It's not just sort of I've nicked my throat with a razor. No, it tends to be somebody's really gone at the throat to give it that visual impact. But that's just that's what the director asks for, and well, that's what they get anyway. So
So you've had me painted in mannequin, but you also painted me for Video Shop 2.
I did. I had to make you up as a Bride of Frankenstein version.
It was Frankenpaula.
Frankenpaula,
yes.
Which was great fun, coming up with how do we do this? How do we create this jigsaw? Wasn't it because I had the wig? Like I already had the wig, and I think when they said that kind of putting Paula back together, and I was like, well, I've got this wig, so we could kind of do. It had that Elsa Lanchester. Yeah, although her hair wasn't actually black, it's because she's a redhead. Yeah, because it's filmed in black and white. She was actually a really quite the personality as well. But so that was fun coming out and working out. Okay, so we're going to do the standard cut neck. So it's taken obviously Paula's head, very important to Mr. Daniels. So we've got Paula's head, but then also I did a Y incision. Yes. And some wrists over, if I remember. I think wrist cuts and things like that. So it was just. I just realised I met my boyfriend when I was dressed as Frankenpaula. Like I was in Frankenstein makeup. I think that's a subject for your therapy podcast, sort of, or maybe for his therapy podcast. I just realised. I mean, he didn't become my boyfriend then. It was like over a year later, but I knew it was on the set, but I just thought, oh God, I actually was in makeup. Like because he came in and I was already. Well, I didn't do such a good job because you're actually so attractive under it all. I loved the look though. I really liked it. I know the dress didn't fit me because my boobs were too big. So did you have to sew me into the back, or you had clipped me into it at the back? So it's how things roll. It is how things roll. Low budget. You just couldn't see the back of me, so that's fine. Have we got another dress? No. What are we going to do? It should have fit, but obviously it was a wedding dress, and wedding dresses don't tend to have the stretch. So so I think it was bulldog clips. But ended up attaching it to my bra somehow, I think. Was my wife on set for that? She was, and I feel like she had some hand in that. Yes. God bless my wife. I do a big shout out to Claire Gent, who is the unspoken, under-celebrated member of A Bloody Gent. Well, she's actually come on to quite a lot of sets now, hasn't she? Yeah. She's doing Claire has been a wig mistress. She's been a runner. She's done all sorts of production assistant. She actually gets makeup credits now, which is quite worrying because I feel like this operation started out as me, and now suddenly my wife's doing it for me. But no, Claire is wonderful, and she helped out with Video Shop 1. She dressed the wig for Charlie Bond as Mary Whitehouse. Did you do the makeup? I was doing the makeup. That was an incredible makeup. That I was blessed with a great script, but it was great fun. But and thank you again, Claire, for sorting out the wig, because I hate doing wigs.
Do you?
Oh, it's a nightmare. Me and the hair just don't mix. It's that's why I mean it's doing the prosthetics and things like that. But yes, it's wonderful to have. I mean, I've been working with other artists, makeup artists, things like that, and it's great when you've got that. If you can develop that sort of shorthand between you and the artist, and it's also about working with the performer. The performer needs to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And if you're comfortable being with the artist who's, I mean, obviously there's times when you have to put a brush somewhere more intimate than others. I remember having to paint down your cleavage during Mannequin and things like that. It's just like, oh, this job is hell. But yeah, it's you have to build a rapport, and it does help having somebody else taking some of the pressure off you, because if you're less stressed, it doesn't transmit to your actor.
Yeah.
And then you just feel a lot better about it. So, because I remember when we were working on Mannequin, it was sort of like, how long is this going to take? And it's sort of like, by the end of it, we got it down to a relatively short period, but it does help to have.
Well, because they wanted most of me painted, it was like one of my full arm.
Yeah.
I think was it both arms or one arm?
One arm.
One arm.
God, 2 arms would have been a headache.
And I know, and I had black trousers, so the white kept kind of rubbing off on the trousers. But you can't walk around like this all day. Like it's not practical. No. And then in the end, we used my car in a scene, and then there was white paint in my car until I sold that car and stayed there.
That's what we told the buyer. It's white paint.
Yeah, there was also fake blood, but
fake blood.
I remember a time I actually had gone to had an axe in the back of the car, and it was actually a real axe, and it was covered in fake blood which had dried, but it was in the back of my car, and I'd gone like food shopping, and it was just there, and I forgot that it was there. I'd come back from a shoot, obviously. And
it was a shoot, promise you.
Yeah, it's like how do you describe what you do? Wouldn't people, would they believe you if you were like, oh, is this from a shoot? I promise it's not blood.
I really do dread the day I have a car accident. Well, dread I have the day I have a car accident, but dread I have the day I have a car accident and I've got my kit in the back. And it's sort of like, we've got blood everywhere. I can't find where the blood's coming from. It's, no, that's just my fake stuff. That's just, you can eat it if you want.
I always remember years ago, and this is when we were doing Serial Caller, so it was the first film I ever had in Horror on Sea, actually. Oh. And I was with my ex, and we'd gone to B&Q, and there was a scene where I needed like a tarpaulin, but like see-through, to kind of hang, so all the bodies are like behind it. And we had this conversation, and we said to the guy, have you got any like tarpaulin like sheets, but it also needs to be a bit see-through. And the guy was like, oh, come on, I'll show you. And he like opened one up, and we were sort of looking at it. And my ex was like, well, what about this one? Because it'll like soak up all the blood. And I was like, I don't need it to soak up the blood. I need it to cover the bodies. And the guy was just like, and I feel like he didn't even want to sell us the one that he'd had his hands on, that he'd gotten out of the bag to show us, because in case he got implicated in some kind of crime. Yeah, he was like, he looked really confused, and we were like, oh, it says for a film, don't worry. But yeah, he thought I wanted it for where there was blood to soak it up, and that wasn't what I needed it for.
So any potential serial killers out there, just always remember, it's for a movie.
I saw a really good thing the other day, and it was like, when burying bodies, plant like protected species of plant on top of, because then you can't dig them up. So there's a tip.
There you go. You see, this podcast is suddenly you're going to get a spike in viewers from rural America and prisons and things like that. I watched that Tony Thompson podcast and I learned everything I do know now.
Oh, can you imagine? And then I get arrested.
Yeah, but you've got plausible excuse.
Yeah, it was for a film. Honest, promise. It's true though. So what else have you been working on recently?
I've got a few bits and pieces coming up.
The things you're allowed to say.
Things I'm allowed to say. I've got a witch makeup coming up soon. I'm writing some stuff which has got witches in it. I'm doing a super short, which I'm doing. I'm working on directing as well.
Nice.
Which is just very strange. it's going to be a real weird art house David Cronenberg-esque thing. So I've got that, and then I've got to knuckle down and actually do some proper writing, and I've got some few ideas kicking around. Sometimes the ideas come easier than the execution.
Yeah.
That's the difficult thing. Is I've got this great idea, but I just got to get it on paper. So yeah, but no, there's more bits and pieces because I went freelance properly tail end of last year, so tail end of 2024. So now I have to go out there and really, knock on doors and get more work. It's it'll come along.
So your journey into like becoming an SFX artist is quite different. I mean, you didn't start it till a bit later. You had like a completely different career.
I was a journalist for 20-something years, and I reached the grand old age of, I think I was in my late 30s, and somebody said, "Oh, you've got another 20 years of being a journalist." And I had an epiphany.
But you worked for like a really serious thing.
I worked for the Financial Times.
It wasn't
it
wasn't a tabloid,
it was like
serious writing.
Proper grown up, serious headlines. You couldn't just prat around with jokes and things like that and make things up. So yeah, I had an epiphany, and I just thought, well, if I don't try,
then you never know.
If I do try and I fall flat on my face, hopefully I could get back somewhere into the journalism. But it was always been there in the back of my mind. It was always, ever since I saw Star Wars figures in the toy shop window when I was about 5-6 years old, and growing up with having Norman J. Warren as a family friend, and he was always telling me about horror films, and then when I was a bit more grown up, he told me about all the horror stories about working on film. And
it didn't put you off.
And he really tried hard. He was very realistic about it. He did say that this is, it's not an easy industry. It's not an industry where you have a set career path or that you can guarantee anything. You just have to go out there and try it and work for free. When I saw the people say, "Oh wow," it's like, yeah, I don't earn a lot of money at the moment. But you do it for the passion.
Yeah, and obviously you're still learning as well. So obviously you leave makeup school. You're not like a master of your trade yet. So you're still learning on the job, and everything you do is like, well, any art, I guess, it's like you're going to get better with more, more experience. So
there's a very skilled SFX prop builder and makeup artist who one of his very fond phrases is "every day is a school day," and it is, because you come up against a new challenge every day, and you do want to try and excel every time, and is why directors sort of say, the question I so often ask directors is, "Are you happy with this?" And the last thing in the world I ever want to hear is, "Yeah, it's fine." It's like, if it's fine, it's not good enough.
Right.
Because I think every artist, as an actor, you want to excel as your performance. As the camera guy, you want to capture something perfectly. And as a makeup artist, you want to create something that, if it turns somebody's stomach, that's a win. If I send photos to my wife and she goes, "Oh my God, that's disgusting," I know that's if she was happy with it, then she's like, "Oh yeah, okay." Then I know I've got to go back to the drawing board. But yeah, it's just one of those things, is you want to excel. And it kind of, you push yourself to excel. And it's when you work with talented people, it kind of makes you raise your game.
Yeah.
So I've been very lucky with the people I've worked with so far, and I hope to continue to be lucky working with the people in the future. So.
And do you always feel really inspired when I come to festivals like Romford? I'm always like, I always go home and I think, I want to do some writing. Like, you're really kind of raring to go and like do some more stuff.
It stokes the creative
does.
juices totally. There was an idea I've been kicking around and just chatting with some people and sort of saying, can we incorporate it into this or into that? And they were saying, well, actually steering me in a different direction. Right. And it's sort of like, well, actually that makes more sense. And it does has the potential to fit in quite nicely. I'm not going to give away too much.
This is intriguing, isn't it? It's like, and then like in a few years' time we'll come back on and we'll be like,
yeah, that was
what we were talking about.
But yeah, so there is it being around other creative people, seeing what other people have achieved. it does drive you to go forward and achieve something. I mean, there's things like horoscopes. There's a lot is achieved on those with amazing.
How many of them have you worked on?
I've worked on all three. I've worked on all three films.
But you've worked on various
segments for a couple of segments each time. Because this time I worked on Horoscopes 3. I basically, I was a roach wrangler.
A roach wrangler?
A roach wrangler.
Like actual roaches?
No.
Oh.
Well, I have worked.
I thought you meant like
I've worked,
Joe's apartment. Have you seen that?
Yes, no, I've worked. I have been a maggot wrangler. And for real, that was.
Were you? Well, there was a day when there was maggots on set. They're dead maggots, like or not dead. No, they weren't. They were mealworms. They wanted me to be there. I was like, I'm not going near them.
Yeah, no, I did. That was on a film that was segment that's meant to go into the original Horoscopes.
Yes.
It's a rather controversial sequence.
Yes.
And that was the day I had to paint an actor who I'd never met before, and it was top to tail.
Yes.
And this poor, and you sort of, that's when you get to know people quite quickly. Because
that is possibly
to,
one of the most horrific things I've ever seen, that film.
Bless you, thank you.
I was like,
we tried hard to work on that one.
I was sent an edit like as soon as it was done to have a look at, and I was like, why did you send me that? My eyes cannot unsee. That was T-Mards we had on.
I have to say that I had nothing to do with the insertion of maggots into any bodily part
there
of a male actor.
There were maggots where maggots do not want to be. Oh.
Yeah, no, the maggots were pretty much making a break for it. But yes, trying to build a maggot corral on somebody and having to paint them. And so yeah, you start on the face and you sort of say, well, can you just loosen your top a bit because I've got to get a bit further down. In the end, the actor very kindly sort of says, I think I just need to, strip it all off. And it's like,
you can't be shy when you're.
No, you can't be shy. But it was.
You can't be shy when you're a makeup artist.
No, but it was one of those things. Is that I needed to break the ice and get to know them a little bit before I can't just walk in there like
get off.
So yeah, it was. But no, I mean, bless.
I was never being painted for a film that never saw the light of day, which is fine. It was very early in my career, and I was like a naked, completely naked, like angel, but I wasn't like a pretty angel. They were like grotesque.
Right.
And I was like sat on the side of like the makeup artist had the boot of her car open. I was kind of sat on like on the inside of the boot with my legs out and like a thing around me. Obviously you get people like rubbernecking right as they go past, and this girl literally drove her car right up a bank, like, and dented her car because she was being lazy.
You see, if you see a makeup artist at work, please don't come and watch, because this is an intimate moment between two artists who are working together. So it's one of those things. You get to do a lot of crazy stuff, but that's the nature of the industry. And
yes.
I wouldn't change it for the world. I'd rather do crazy stuff than I used to have fun with the writing, but now this is.
It has to be a job.
Innovating.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean that's the thing. You treat it as a job, but it's also like the most fun you can do, way you can earn a living and just be endlessly creative. It's good fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you very much for inviting me on.
And, do you know what we should have done? We should have had you here doing like something while during.
We can book me in for another session. We'll do wounds and things as I work. You can be interviewing somebody else, and I can be doing wounds on you.
Something I won't be able to talk.
Wounds masterclass.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we'll do another one where we have like a proper chat about.
Absolutely.
And you can show you some of your.
God, I can ball for Britain on that subject. Make sure to miss that episode because I am tedious.
No.
But no, thank you very much. I mean, as ever, it's a pleasure to work with you. Thank you very much.
Go back and enjoy the festival
I
now.
shall indeed. I've got my eyes on a few things.
Have you? What are you going to watch?
Well, yeah.
Horoscopes at 5.
Well, yes. Well, Claire's coming to Horoscopes. I'm actually watching Man Bites Dog. And then I've got The Reign of Queen Gennara.
Yes.
Which I'm hoping my bottom can withstand over 2 hours of
Yes.
strange.
Well, at least they're comfy cinema chairs here, so you've
They
got,
are.
comfy chairs.
I wouldn't take on the reign of Queen Janara at Horror on Sea. Love you, Paul, but those seats just absolute killers.
I know, they've changed the seats there, and then this year I felt like I was like leaning back in my seat and I kept sliding down, and then I was getting like anxiety because I kept fidgeting, and I was thinking the guys behind me are going to get really annoyed because I'm fidgeting so much, but I could not get comfortable in those seats this year.
They are impossible.
So yeah, happens.
Thank you very much.
Welcome back to the Scream Princess podcast. Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Scream Princess podcast, recording from Romford Horror Festival. And I've got 2 more victims for the chili sauce tragedy. You both look very worried.
Who's the victim? I wasn't until that moment.
So you'll recognise Alex from a previous podcast, but we've also got Mike, who is another part of Tiz, who was the co-director, which we've talked about you on,
have you?
the podcast. Yeah, was co-director of Ice Cream on the Beach, and yeah, just grabbed them, plucked them from the safety of the cinema and brought them up here for the Dean of the Dead Sauce Challenge.
Yeah.
So yeah, how are you enjoying the festival so far?
Yeah, it's been really good. Showed video shop yesterday, went
Yes.
really well. Busy.
It was busy.
Yeah, really busy. Right. Obviously they've got something on every screen, so I was a bit worried about that. And
Yeah.
it's really busy.
You don't know how many people are there for your film, do you? Until the moment you all sit down and like.
Yeah, that's the thing when it's not just one screen and everyone's going to watch all of the
Yeah.
films. It's and another screening tomorrow. That's exciting. Well, I've got these Thai crackers to do the challenge with.
Quite hungry.
We're actually quite hungry. So we're going to start with this one here. So this is the Handle with Scare hot sauce, and it is Naga chilies with peach, mango and pineapple.
Nice.
It's quite a fruity one. Like I always think this one would be good for like tacos or something.
Okay.
So help yourself to a cracker. I'll do it too, so you know.
You must be used to these by now though, right?
Yeah, I've done a few of these. I think you may be the last of the. Oh no, I've got Alan Bryce. I think he's coming today.
Oh, okay.
Gonna get him. So
Has anyone like had a meltdown while doing this?
me.
Okay.
Everyone else has done okay. I think the first day when I actually did it with Dean, we had a bit too much of the final sauce, and I actually had to like jump off, flap around a little bit, do a little dance. Cheers.
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 Ooh, that is nice.
Yeah, it's good.
So,
Yeah, like a small kick to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, but
yeah,
it's
but like a
fruity.
very like minimal kick. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
I like it
nice.
a lot.
Yeah. So next up,
Handle biscuit.
we've got Video Shop Tales of Terror Toffee Apple
Yes.
sauce.
Already
But
tell
this,
it's going to be the best one.
Yeah.
it is, well, do you like sweet chili?
Yeah.
Because I don't usually like sweet chili,
Mm.
but it's like sweet chili, but it's also got a little bit of a sour tang to it. So
Okay.
for me, like I prefer them.
I mean, it doesn't matter what it tastes like. It's definitely going to be the
It's
best.
definitely the best one. It is so good, isn't it? I was like, I don't know if I want to open it, but the wax has kind of stayed.
I was wondering about that.
It's like pink glittery wax.
That's the thing. Are you gonna, if you get a bottle, are you gonna?
I've
just
got
keep
one,
it,
but
or
yeah,
are
that's
you
that's the thing. I wasn't sure about opening it because I didn't want to destroy that, but I might now.
Yeah, I think he did it. Like he managed to open it. Okay, help yourself to another cracker. Okay. Oh, that's quite a lot, but it's not hot, so it's okay. Oh,
Thank you.
cheers.
Cheers.
Best sweet chili sauce I've ever
Yeah.
had. Everyone should buy cases of the Video Shop chili sauce.
It's amazing, isn't it?
No, it's nice. It's very
That's
nice.
good.
I'm actually the same as you. I like sweet chili, but I generally like normal hot sauces more.
Yeah.
Normal hot sauces that make sense. But no, that's really nice. It's not got the same like sort of thickness. I think sweet chili.
Yeah, I think
it's a bit.
it's
a
less
bit like-
sugary, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's not got any apple in it. So I don't know how he's made it taste like toffee apple. but it somehow does.
It really tastes like apple.
It does. I don't know whether it's like it's just tricked us because the name of it is toffee apple.
Well, no, because I forgot that it was toffee apple flavoured.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, until
And
you
it
said
does
that.
taste kind of
tastes really
appley, but-
yeah.
Yeah, it's strange. So the next one is more of like a barbecue
Okay.
style, like a chipotle. Is that the word? Chipotle? That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's more like a chipotle. But you're a big fan of, you like the red hot sauce, don't you?
Oh yeah,
Is that the one?
Frank's red
Frank's
hot sauce.
red hot sauce.
Yeah, I get through a bottle
You've
of that
got,
week.
you've got to tell Danny your claim to fame with the Frank's red
Oh
hot
yeah,
sauce.
well, like at the end of the year, well, if you go to Sainsbury's at the end of the year, like you see your nectar, it tells you what you were like the number one, you know.
I reckon
So-
most people are the number
so-
one. in
You are the
anything.
number one customer.
So I was the number one buyer of Frank's hot sauce in the South End big Sainsbury's.
I wonder if you're the number one like ever in any Sainsbury's.
Well, yeah, I don't know,
Right.
is it obscure? I don't know if it's
It's
obscure.
quite obscure.
Yeah.
Like, I've never been the number one hot sauce buyer for a supermarket.
Like one specific brand.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what I buy a lot of. Like, there's nothing that I buy like a bottle a week of. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you put it on everything?
Most things, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't put it on a roast dinner.
I mean, when we
Have
were
you tried?
this is the person while we were at university, he used to make himself a meal and it would just be bread and various sauces and that would be it.
You're very poor when you're at university.
Do you not live on ramen? Like,
But yeah, I used to get noodles a lot. Like,
Yeah.
Got pasta.
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
cheap.
when I was at
12
drama school and I was the same. I was like, you know, the little packets of noodles, but not even like the proper Japanese ramen. It was like the ones that are like 30p.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, that's what you get when you work on a tier set, right? Normally, it's just like instant
Oh,
noodles.
we're better
Oh,
now.
okay.
we used to get the cheapest pot of noodles, but we do actually get food now.
We get food.
I feel like it's McDonald's last time. Remember
yeah,
last time
yeah.
here? The McDonald's.
Oh, that McDonald's! Oh, I'm so livid. Well, we ordered the McDonald's.
Are we about to get sued by McDonald's?
No.
No.
We ordered this McDonald's, and it was quite a few of us, so it should have been a really big order of McDonald's. They turned up, and it was like a McFlurry, a donut, and something else, or something like that.
It was like 3 things.
And I was like, that's definitely not our order. And this woman was like, you have to take it. So I was like,
Take it.
okay. So I took it.
That's
And
an
then-
amazing salesmanship.
But we'd
They
only
have to.
ordered McDonald's because it had got quite late.
Yeah.
And it was like, this was like, what can we get? What's open? Was it a Sunday or something?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, so it was like, well, McDonald's are open and they deliver. So that was the decision. So everyone was hungry and we'd waited.
Yeah.
And then that turned up.
And you had to like request a refund for that, and then I had to just do a whole new order. And like that did come, and even that, I mean, it was mostly there, but there was still even like bits missing there. So I was just like, oh.
Just like the idea of you walking into set, everyone's sat there hungry and tired, and you've just got this single McFlurry in your hand.
I think James had that. He was pretty happy, wasn't he?
Did you? Yeah, who had the donut?
Can't remember who had
I
the donut.
can't really remember who was there now, but it was like it was the final. It was like the final weekend of shooting stuff
Yeah.
for
Yes,
for
it
video
was
shots too,
trashed
so
basically.
it was trashed in like a little bit of wraparound stuff.
Your intros, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so annoying.
Help yourself to another cracker. The thing is, like, you know, everyone can eat a pot noodle. It's like it's easy, isn't it, when you're on set?
Yeah, it was also because when we were doing that first film, we didn't have a budget whatsoever, so whatever
Yeah.
money went into it was just whatever we
It's
happened to have left over at the end of the month.
And they last as well. Like if people don't
Yeah.
eat them, you can bring it for the next week.
Yeah.
I think that was the main point of them. Thank you.
It smells very barbecue.
Mm.
Who does?
It smells a bit like McDonald's barbecue. I was gonna
It
say.
does.
Bloody McDonald's. Cheers.
Oh, I actually like all of these.
I say it's my least favourite so far, but it's still good.
Is that just because it's a barbecue sauce though?
Well,
As opposed to like a straight up
I definitely
sauce?
prefer those two, but it's good, but it's just not. I prefer the taste of those two.
I think the next one's going to be your favourite because the next one is the sauce Peria,
Oh, nice.
Oh,
and it's actually more like a traditional hot sauce. It's like a
Mm.
peri peri
oh nice.
style hot sauce. So they're kind of labelled like that's got 3 chilies on it, but our one's got like 3 fires on it. So they're meant to be the same level, but I think this one's spicy. So this is the one I tried first. And I was like, oh, well, this has got like a bit of a kick. So I was thinking it was going to get worse and worse from there. But actually, the other ones were not so bad. So let's give it a go.
This is my favourite podcast we've ever done.
Yeah.
We're just getting fed. This is fantastic.
You might change your mind on the last one. You might be like, I'm never saying yes to anything again.
This is a fake one.
Right.
Easy.
Cheers.
That is my favourite, but I really like peri-peri sauce, so.
That is really good.
My go-to, like, you know, when you're feeling really lazy and you just don't want to cook, but you like want something kind of stodgy. It's like, it's a meal I've made up myself, but it's literally boiled pasta or macaroni, whatever. And then for the sauce afterwards, melt in a bit of butter, a bit of the Nando's peri-peri, the hot one, and then nutritional yeast, and mix it all up. And it's like some kind of spicy mac and cheese. It's great.
Oh, okay. I've started putting nutritional yeast on pretty much everything.
Pretty much
It's
everything,
got
yeah.
like that sort of
That's
cheesy
probably
texture
what
to
I
it.
buy the most of. I probably get through one of those a week.
Really? Okay, I don't
Yeah.
have quite that much, but.
Yeah, because I use it to make egg yellow for dippy eggs.
So I've not actually used it to cook anything yet. I kind of just use
You
it as a
just use
topping
it.
on like bowls and stuff. And, like,
Yeah.
but-
No, I use it on like spag bowl. I use it as topping, but I use it to make egg yellow and then pasta sauce and
No, okay.
stuff.
It's kind of a weird thing, isn't it? 'Cause I always describe it as like nutty cheese, and that doesn't sound very appealing, but it kind of is.
I don't know. I like nuts and cheese, so.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I mean, on their own, I'm a big fan of both, but nutty cheese doesn't sound appealing.
That sounded wrong, didn't it? What is she admitting on air? And I always say to people on here, don't say anything that you don't want out there, because I'm not editing and stuff. Like I chop like the beginning and the end off so that we all like start and end on a smile, or probably tears in this one. But yeah, I'm like, if you say it, it's going out there. So
I mean, we recorded a podcast last night, and if that was going to drag us down, so there's nothing we can do here that's going to be worse than
we
last
did
night.
one last night.
Yeah.
After the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. We were describing what films we wanted to remake with puppets,
Oh yeah.
which got very dark very quickly.
It did.
What do you want to remake with
I
puppets?
said irreversible.
And I also wanted to say reversible, and then
I haven't seen it.
don't know if I'd recommend. But then
It's a good film, but it's very
Tasha
dark.
said Schindler's List with puppets,
Yeah,
which I think at the
that's
point where
good.
the game stopped.
Okay, so what I've been doing with this one, I'm just gonna move this out of the way so you can see, is I've been pouring a bit on here, and then we can just like dip in it, because like to do a blob like we just did, that was so I've kind of,
Oh, it's a running one.
yeah, so I've kind of described like my experience of the first time I did this one, and it was hot, and I was like, and it took a little bit to kick in. It was like a slow burn, and then once my like mouth had stopped burning, I felt it like burning all its way down, and then it was like I was okay for a second, and I was just chatting away on the podcast, and then suddenly my tummy was just like, it just felt like I was being melted. Like it didn't feel like any kind of tummy ache I've ever had, or any kind of cramp or anything. It was just like being melted.
This description makes it sound like it should be like a street trash flavour.
Yeah.
Hot sauce rather than Terrifier.
Yeah, it was it's tough. So
I don't want
Genuinely look
I want to
nervous.
see Danny dip in first. To see how
do you know,
much
I
it
did it the first time, then I did it with MJ, and we had like the tiniest bit and it did nothing. And then with Tony, I was like a bit more, so I'm like, so
Okay.
there you go, I've got that much on there. But it's hot, I mean, smell it. That's quite a bit, you may need the milk, but oh,
Is that
Yeah.
too much?
it's alright, that's about what we've got.
Okay.
Okay, go.
I'm sort of waiting just in case the melting kicks in before I say anything. Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's actually okay.
Nothing's happening
Yeah, it was-
yet.
Nothing's happening at all. Do you not?
I've got like a slight like burning in my
Yeah,
throat.
it's sort of. I can feel it.
Like an air shot. Featuring
That's good.
that.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
I'm not eating that.
Do it.
No.
Do it.
I do like the taste of that though. That's
Okay, a
like.
bit red.
Am I?
How much is on there? I'm tempted to try it.
feel free. Probably pop a
You
straw.
sure you don't want this?
No, you have it.
I mean,
Okay.
you can have some more if you want to have a go.
Sure.
No, you do it.
Okay.
You do it.
I'm going to regret something. I'm not dead yet.
You're much braver than me.
No, I'm just stupider. There's nothing brave about it.
Hannah's got away with this today by not being here.
She wouldn't. I don't. She's not a very big
Is she
fan.
not a very big fan of?
Jesus. No.
So it's not really affected you at all. You're
No,
doing
it's got
alright.
like a nice like burny to the throat.
Right.
I like it. It's got like it's quite smoky.
I feel like it was hotter the other day. I mean, it's the same sauce.
I mean,
but-
you're probably desensitized to it by now, surely, because you've done
Yeah.
this like how many times?
Yeah, I mean, I
What's
did
this
have
one?
much less, but the first that was the
Lime
Terrifier.
Reaper.
So it's like Carolina Reaper and lime.
Oh yeah, you definitely couldn't have too much of it.
That would be good on mac.
That
and
was
cheese.
like a good level. Like I feel like if you had more than what was on that cracker, it'd be quite.
I feel like that's the one. Like if you're cooking something, you'd put
Yeah,
a
put a
little
bit,
bit
yeah.
in the food, and that would be
Yeah.
Yeah,
Big
you wouldn't
mac
use
and
it as
cheese.
a-
Mac and cheese. It would be great on.
yeah mac and cheese. He's like, what would you not think it would be great on roast dinner? That's about
I
it.
would
Just the
probably
roast
eat a
dinner.
roast dinner with hot sauce.
Would you?
Would you?
Yeah.
Because you've got gravy. That's the thing. But then I would put it. I do put hot sauce on curry sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah, if it's not
It's
like
already-
no,
But
because
that's like a completely different like flavour.
yeah, but sometimes we get because we get Green Chef and sometimes they're like really mild. So if it's like korma or tikari or whatever, I just like put hot sauce in it.
I'm not a fan of like a korma. It's
No,
like
I'm
sugary,
not.
isn't it? It's a sugary curry. But
Yeah, I'm not a fan really, but sometimes we have to.
sometimes.
Sometimes people that won't be named use it.
Sometimes somebody else does the ordering. Yeah, I can't really have hot stuff at home now because he can't have it. So, like, I have to either do it separately or put the sauce on afterwards. I can't like really put it in.
Is this why you've done this? Because you were like, I'm away for the weekend. I can eat as much hot sauce as I want.
No,
I'm
no,
gonna
I
base the
can
entire
eat
podcast
it
around
at home. I can eat it like myself, you know. No, it was just I thought Dean would be great coming on the show because obviously he's got the horror hot sauce company, and then he brought me 5 of them. So I was like, well, I can see if anyone else wants to have a go.
Nice. Yeah, they're really good.
Oh, they're good, very good.
They are good. Well done. You're very brave. You've done really, really well.
I still can't believe you ate that whole thing.
I think you'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure you don't have a go?
I'll go on.
It's this one. Yeah,
It's
that
like
one.
it's like a peppery hot. It's not like I don't know how to describe it. Sometimes when you eat something really hot, it's like quite sharp, and that isn't.
That much?
Yeah.
Was it? Was it?
No, good one, actually.
That kind of looks like more than
Do you
I.
want to tip some off?
No.
No?
Do it. Eat it.
That's it.
Eat it. The podcast episode will end. So.
Oh, you were just watching.
You can definitely feel it. It's not too bad, but I can feel it. I do need to.
Yeah, it's
water.
You
I
want some of the
went first.
strawberry soy?
Oh, I might actually
Yeah.
just because I'd like to try it.
They had strawberry or chocolate. I went with strawberry because pink.
It's definitely like not the hottest that I've had.
The hottest one I've had was like a liquid thing that you have with a pipette.
Oh,
And
okay.
you put like it's like a white kind of extract.
I remember. What's is that spicier?
It's like gone down wrong. Something like
Just like turned into Popeye suddenly. Up into your face.
I don't know. That just made me like. You know,
Don't
like
rub
when-
your eyes after touching the hot
This is
sauce.
actually a trick. Danny's like spiked all the soy drinks with more hot
Chilli,
sauce.
yeah. I was like, if the sauce doesn't get them, the
I can't
milkshake.
believe that. I mean, maybe it is the chili. I'm not sure.
Just discovered that soya milk and chili doesn't it causes like some acid. The fun now should just be his face like
You've got
zooming in.
I think I've touched my eye in it.
Oh no!
Oh, the way to stop that is to rub your eye more.
It's nice this though.
It is nice. Well, thank you both for coming on. Have you
Thanks
got
for having
anything
us.
you want to plug other than Video Shop? Anything that you want to tell us? anything you want out there?
No,
Coming up.
no video shop. You can pre-order Mosaic.
Yeah, as I say, pre-orders of Mosaic are available.
There you go.
Danny in.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
Part of the Paula Valentine cinematic universe.
Yeah, I think like she's become her own person now. Like, I think Paula Valentine
Like a
goes and
split
plays these
personality
roles.
thing,
Yeah,
don't
like she's in so much stuff. She's crossed universes. She's like crossed from Tiz to like
Oh, yeah,
she's in Tony Marden's and
yeah.
I don't know if she's in anything else.
But I think Witches of Sand crosses universes itself, right? It's like
It's
it's
all
very fourth wall
Yeah,
breaking.
yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you. I'll let you get back to the festival.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.